Grover Cleveland, a no-nonsense former mayor of Buffalo, strode into the White House as the first Democratic president since the Civil War. When stepping into the White House as the 22nd President of the United States in 1885, he was known as the veto president, a man who believed the government should be honest, frugal, and not waste taxpayers' money. In the late 1800s, railroads were the lifeblood of America, moving crops, goods, and people across the country. But railroads also held enormous power, often charging unfair rates, especially hurting small farmers who depended on them. Some companies secretly gave rebates to big businesses, while ordinary people paid much higher prices. Pressure from farmers and reformers pushed Congress to act, and in 1887 Cleveland signed the Interstate Commerce Act, the first federal law to regulate private industry. The law created the Interstate Commerce Commission, ICC, giving the government authority to oversee railroads. It banned practices like charging more for short hauls than long hauls, demanded that rates be reasonable and just, and required railroads to make their prices public. This act became the foundation for future regulations in areas like trade, banking, and labor. Losing re-election in 1888, he returned 4 years later when voters trusted him again to lead. In a rare twist, Cleveland returns as the 24th president, the only man to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. In 1893, the U.S. economy collapsed. A major railroad company, the Philadelphia and Reading Railroad, went bankrupt, triggering a chain reaction. Dozens of other railroads failed, and because banks had invested heavily in them, banks began to collapse too. Businesses shut down, unemployment soared. At one point, nearly 1 in 5 workers had no job. A big factor was the debate over money. At the time, the U.S. used both gold and silver to back its currency. But silver mines were producing huge amounts of silver, which many feared was weakening the dollar. Cleveland believed the solution was to stick firmly to the gold standard. He pushed to repeal the Sherman Silver Purchase Act, which had required the government to buy silver each month. While this helped stabilize the currency for bankers and investors, it angered farmers and workers who wanted free silver to expand the money supply and ease their debts. The Depression lasted for several years, sparking strikes, protests, and widespread hardship. Cleveland's strict, hands-off approach made him deeply unpopular, even within his own Democratic Party. Though he left office battered by criticism, Cleveland is remembered as a leader of principle, honest, stubborn, and unafraid to stand against popular pressure, even if it cost him politically. Thank you for watching. If you want to learn more about American history, please like, share, and follow.